We're honored to be joined by Dr. Arturo Osorio, who is Associate Professor of Entrepreneurship at the Rutgers School of Business and the Secretary of the Board at the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Good to see you, Arturo.
Good to see you, Steve.
We are going to put up the website for the Hispanic Chamber. We've had your CEO on, Carlos, talking about a whole range of important issues. I want to revisit some of them now. The Hispanic community and their representation in the business community, how prominent is the Hispanic business community?
Very good question. So if you were to take the Hispanic community in the US and put it in a ranking across the world, the Hispanic community will be about the 5th largest GDP of the world. In other words, if we're looking into, yes, the 5th. So if we're looking into numbers, the Hispanic community in the US brings about 97 billion, that's billion with a B, $1 billion into the US economy. This is mostly because the large number of business and the youth of the community. So we're talking that across the US, we have about 140,000 Hispanic business contributing to the economy, providing access to products and services. In New Jersey alone, that number is about 20,000, I believe. The chamber represents 6,500, so it's a big number.
Let me follow up with this. As expansive as the Hispanic business community is, everyone involved in a business, particularly small business, but all business, our business, greatly affected by the pandemic. As we're doing this program, March of 2024 will represent 4 years into this global pandemic.
Yes.
How would you argue that, or what would you say the Hispanic business community's greatest challenges are from recovering, in the effort to recover from the pandemic, based on the incredibly difficult challenges they faced? Any different than the rest of us?
Very different in terms of how it connects and the type of challenges. So to recover, we need money. You need to buy materials, you need to bring back marketing, you need to connect people. So if I am a non-Hispanic business requesting a loan, let's go for a small business. We know the numbers. The small business is defined by the Small Business Administration of the US, so we're talking tiny numbers, $100,000. I am a non-Hispanic business looking for $100,000 in a loan. I have about 50% chance to get my loan. Same business, same amount of money. Now the face on the picture is Hispanic, 20% chance to get the loan. If we go, why? Because that's a very good question. There are multiple elements to it. Number one, the way that we present ourselves tend to be more shy. The way that we record the numbers sometimes is more difficult. We tend to be more cautious when we report. We tend to trust less and tend to work more in close-knit communities. That is for the inside part of it. On the outside part of it, there's discrimination. There is some intrinsic bias that we don't look at it. There are some problems that this has been also translated to artificial intelligence recordings. So if you are looking for people applying for loans or for jobs, and you remove the gender and the name of the person, so it becomes non-denominational in terms of ethnicity or gender, you are equally likely to get it. You apply gender, you apply name, names indicated, you drop the chances.
Then, so you're saying gender, part of it, but if someone's name is Gonzalez versus Adubato or Jones, and the credentials are the same, the application is the same, the capital formation is the same. Finish that.
This is what happens. We tend to have certain biases. And these biases imply that we see certain groups more likely, more suited to perform a job. So, for example, I can give you a case that it happened to me, and this is, I'm going to go into gender. I was working about 10 years ago with an entrepreneur. This individual had about 10 years work experience running a daycare. It was a daycare, 15 kids, was looking to grow the daycare, applied for a loan, was denied. Problem was a male caregiver. So we foresee people who provide childcare to be more likely female than male. If you see a situation in the mall where a kid is crying, ethnicity is not matching, older person happens to be a male, we grow suspicious. We see a kid crying on the mall, say different ethnicity, younger kid crying, we think like must be a nanny or the mother. So we have some biases.
Doctor, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Why, I often ask people when I feel their passion, how much they believe deeply in the work they're doing and the people they serve. I'm always curious, where does your passion for the scholarship, the research, the work that you do, particularly at Rutgers School of Business, where does that passion come from?
Before being a professor, I was a CFO for a $100 million R&D project, US, Mexico. The project was phenomenal. We needed to develop the technology. We needed to create things that they had never existed before. We were given one task. You do all the technology and don't forget for the nearby local communities. So how difficult can it be? We have world-class scientists, PhD people, and we were creating things that had never seen before. We failed on the social. So at that point, I asked myself, how come when we have all the resources at hand, all the knowledge, and even the mandate, we are not able to deliver? So at that point, I have a conversation with my wife. She was finishing her PhD at the time. Says, how do you feel if I quit my job and I go back to school? So quit my job and I ask, what do we do not know? Because if we know what we know, we can ask the question. But we don't. When we ignore what we don't know, we don't know what to ask. So went back to school and I start asking, how do we conceptualize businesses? How come sometimes we have problems with businesses? And the answer was simple, and that's how I became a professor at Rutgers. Most people see businesses as a tool of exploitation. So you create a business because you want to make money. So you extract money from communities. However, and this is one of the things that make different the Hispanic business and why it's allowing the Hispanic business to grow despite of. We see business as the opportunity to provide access to products and services. So when you create business to resolve problems, your business becomes strong. So that's what I became, and that's how I feel passionate. For me, creating business is the opportunity to make communities better by solving problems in exchange for resources.
This is personal for you.
Very personal.
We appreciate you joining us, Professor, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with you because we are not doing enough. I'll speak on behalf of our production company. We are not doing nearly enough to explore, to analyze, to make sense of issues disproportionately affecting the Hispanic community. Thank you, Professor.
No, thank you, Steve. I appreciate the opportunity.
You got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every person and organization has a story to be told. Not just famous people, but business leaders, public servants, doctors and nurses, educators and coaches. At PSC, your story is our business. For more information, visit princetonsc.com.
Also brought to you by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, lighting the way to a clean energy future. PSC, where your story is our business. The New Jersey Education Association. NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, moving the region through air, land, rail, and sea. PSEG Foundation. The Fidelco Group. And by the Russell Berry Foundation, making a difference.